I was always being asked like 18, 19 years old, why are you in real estate? What's your vision? What are your goals? Because at 18, most people in the industry were 40, 50, 60 years old. For me, it was more of, okay, down the road, do I think traditional is a scalable business for me to be able to make $1 million a year? The answer is yes. But if you realize like what you need to do production wise to make that net number of $1 million commission, I mean, you've got a lot of deals to sell.
Yeah. Look, pull in the spot. Ooh, watch how I drop. Believe it or not, this isn't all that I got. They told me to rock, that's not how I rock. Now I gotta pop Madonna.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Flip Lab. I got my friend Ryan Zolin on. For those of you guys that don't know, Ryan's out of the Phoenix market. He's a young dude. He's 15. He's actually, no, I'm kidding. We said we were going to do this. How old are you, man?
I'm 23.
23 years old, has his own real estate investing business. He's also on the traditional side. He has a team that he's doing millions of dollars of deals out in the hottest market in the country. And I think what's pretty cool about Ryan is he's doing the majority of his deals coming off of the MLS. So a lot of you guys think that it's super hard to find deals right now, and he's finding literally where all the houses are, right on the MLS. So awesome having you on, man. Welcome to the Flip Lab.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you having me on, dude.
Yeah, for sure. So just tell the people kind of, how'd you get to this point if you had to just kind of in a minute?
Yeah. Started off at 18. I did not want to go to college. Kind of just started real estate school, July of 2016. I aligned myself with people that were much smarter than me. I started off on a team to kind of learn what a team was like, how they ran their business, systems, processes. And then I took that to a mentor or mentee. And then from there, I just kind of saw the vision of, man, I can't do this on my own. I need to leverage other people, other relationships. So that guy became a partner. We grew a big team and then kind of scaled it all back down, just myself then, and then started over just my own team and started a new business with the investment side. And that's been now about 3 years on our own. So.
Okay. So, I mean, as a young guy who got into real estate, sounded like you started on the traditional side.
Yes. Yep.
And then eventually started getting into the investing side.
Yes.
Someone who's new, they want to get into real estate. Maybe they're out of high school, similar to you.
Yep.
Do you recommend them starting in the traditional world or going right into investing?
Solid question. I think it really depends on what their goals are. Like for me, being a traditional agent, the reason that I kind of stepped away from it was I was always being asked like 18, 19 years old, why are you in real estate? What's your vision? What are your goals? Because at 18, most people in the industry were 40, 50, 60 years old. For me, it was more of, okay, down the road, do I think traditional is a scalable business for me to be able to make $1 million a year? The answer is yes. But if you realize like what you need to do production wise to make that net number of $1 million commission, I mean, you've got a lot of deals to sell. And so I knew I couldn't do that on my own. I knew that even with a business partner, that wasn't necessarily like a realistic goal for us to hit.
Right.
And even with a business partner, you split it down the middle, then 500, 500. So you've got to double it. That was the big point. The other point of it was thinking about future wise down the road. I think it's a very safe assumption that it could be click, click, click. I just bought a house. I don't need a real estate agent anymore. I just think that's where the future is going technology wise.
I agree.
And so I was a little bit scared, but also just wanted to be more cautious and protect myself and make sure I was lined up to where I wasn't going to be outsourced by technology or by a robot, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but would you say in 10 years from now, do you see the traditional way of buying houses as far as, oh, my cousin's a realtor, let's call them up. And then, they come over the house, they come up with whatever, the show comps, their little presentation, and then time to take photos, list it.
I don't know. I feel like the easy answer is that a lot of people always will like that face-to-face connection. They want the shake my hand and give me a deal type relationship.
Carvana hasn't taken out car dealerships,
right,
and car salesmen.
But at the same time too, I'm like, okay, I can see very well, and again, the reason I switched to investment was that I could see that being outsourced within the next 3 to 5 years. Right. I think people are all about convenience, and especially the younger generation, the ones that are going out and buying, they're going to be all about just convenience. They don't want to go and have a conversation. So the agent will call them. They're going to hang up on the phone. They're going to start texting them. So
I have a lot of people on the show, and like I talk to a lot of people that want to start all businesses, ideas. I think like anything that could provide convenience to consumers right now is a great avenue to be in.
Absolutely.
No matter what business, what type of app you're working on, if you could like provide an easier consumer experience, like the way Zillow's doing, where I had a house in my neighborhood that was for sale by Zillow.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like you just walk over to the house,
just punch in the code.
You just punch in the code and the door unlocks automatically and you can just tour it by yourself.
Yep. I think that's more of a realistic option in the near future.
Yeah. My thought on that though is I was like, man, if I knew this as a hack and I was like 16 years old, like you are, you know, and I was throwing a party, like I would just be like, oh dude, let's throw a party at this house. Or like, I feel like squatters are going to like end up just breaking into those houses. And
there's definitely a learning curve that's going to be coming with that kind of business model. And I think that there's also guidelines that they're going to have to stay in with. You need an agent to be touring a house with you. You can't just be a consumer walking into a house. So
yeah, how
do you regulate that? I don't know. I think that those are a lot of the challenges that you're seeing with Opendoor, OfferPad, Zillow, all those big companies. But the iBuyers themselves, I mean, the hard part for me is that I think where they're mixing it is like you see the companies like Zillow where they're selling leads to realtors that pay them money, but now they're competing against these realtors as an iBuyer buying houses and selling them. I think there's a lot of stuff that's co-mixed there. And just
in my previous job, I was selling Yelp ads.
Yep.
So I talked to a lot of realtors and, you know, they spent a ton of money with Zillow. And I think Zillow got to be really careful with kind of how they're presenting themselves.
For sure.
Because, I mean, if you're a realtor and you're paying Zillow $3,000 to send you more real estate deals,
right?
And then right in front of you, Zillow is like, no, fuck realtors. Just sell it directly to us. We'll just buy it. It's easy, right? They're trying to eliminate the realtors, but the realtors is how they make the majority of their ad money right now.
Right.
So I just kind of find that it's kind of an interesting dynamic. And I don't know if you've talked to more realtors that advertise and how they feel about that.
So I used to advertise a lot myself with Zillow. We were spending about $3,000 a month and it was brutal. Like what you start to realize is a lot of times you get charged when they click on the ad. And most consumers, they think that, oh, my realtor's not sending me all the listings that are available. So I'm going to go on Zillow or Redfin or all these other sites. And they think that they're talking to the listing agent. A lot of times these people think that they're calling and it's like, oh, this is the person that has the house, whatever. They think they're getting a deal. What they don't realize is that they clicked on more information. It charged that agent like $500. So when you're an agent, you call and it's another agent that's just looking, or it's somebody that's just like, oh, I'm just browsing around. That's a big pill to swallow.
I felt bad. I did that to an agent. I just wanted more info on the house. I'm looking for like a primary out here.
Yep.
So I just want to talk to the listing agent.
Yep.
So I thought I was, and the next thing I know, someone's calling me. It's an agent about the house. I was like, oh, are you the listing agent? They're like, no. I was like, sorry, but like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't need any assistance, you know? And I know they got charged probably a lot of money just for that call. So I try not to do that, but it's part of the game. Now, I know you have concerns about iBuyers kind of, and just kind of the whole convenience, taking out kind of the realtor role. But as far as when it comes to like house buying, a lot of investors I talk to, they're thinking the same thing is, you know, Zillow and these iBuyers are going to take out the local investors, guys like us in our markets. What's your thought on that?
I don't like that mindset. I think for me, I have the abundance mindset that there's plenty of business for all of us to go around. What I would say is more of a concern for me is making sure that they're not just doing harm to the homeowners. I think that's the biggest issue on the investment side, is that people that have the wrong intentions or no intent of actually buying the property are the ones that are going and getting this under contract. I know a lot of these iBuyers, and I won't name the names, but like they'll say your price is going to be this much is our offer for you. It's called $180,000. Well, then this homeowner thinks that they're getting $180,000 without having to pay any commission or anything. Well, then they do their assessment or whatever, and then they drop it another 10%, another 15%, and they call it their maintenance fees or their convenience fees, saying, oh, well, this property has this that needs to be repaired. Your AC is, no, it's not brand new, but it's 3 years old. That may be out in like 2 months. I don't know. I mean,
I just making up these bullshit fees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just have an issue with that kind of stuff because their 180 offer would look better than an investor like ourselves that's going to go and buy it actually that would offer 150. What they don't realize is that these big companies at 180, their net number is going to be right around the same, if not worse than ours. So it's a hard place to be being licensed myself, because obviously we're held to a standard of ethics and making sure that we break everything down for them so they understand. but it's really tough to be like, hey, this number, make sure this is your net number, and this is my offer. Like my offer doesn't change. So this is where my net number will be. This is your number. Where are we going to be?
I feel like it's similar to like shitty wholesalers.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's kind of the same model. Like I was just talking to this homeowner. I posted a video on TikTok of talking to this guy, actually a live call with him.
Yep.
And he got this house we're trying to buy under contract. Some wholesalers contracted it for $230.
Yep.
Our buy number was like around $190.
Yep.
We're in like a small market in New Jersey, South New Jersey, right? It's not like Phoenix with like millions of buyers just like waiting for deals. I know like no one's gonna buy it for that.
Of course.
So I had to explain to the owner. I was like, look, I get what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to get the most money for your property.
Yep.
But are these guys going to close? Did they put down hard earnest money? No, they didn't. They didn't put down any earnest money. Even in New Jersey, like you can't even really keep that shit. But it just shows like a sign of
absolutely, yeah,
of actually moving forward with
validity.
the transaction, right? So now these guys come in, right? We're at 190. They're at 230. How are we supposed to compete with that, right? But we're actually going to close.
Of course.
These wholesalers aren't going to close.
Yep.
So now this guy's stuck in a contract for a couple months. And I feel like those are the people that are ruining kind of the wholesaling
absolutely.
And the iBuyers too.
Yep.
Right now, it's kind of like getting to this point of if you want the convenience, it is going to come at
a cost.
Of
course.
But be transparent about that, right? And I think these iBuyers and bad wholesalers are just going about it. It's hard to find deals and it's hard to get deeply discounted deals,
right?
But you can't force deals.
Absolutely.
And just trying to trick people into like agreeing to a higher price so you get the contract,
right?
And now you can on the back end.
Yep. Or they'll go and they'll get it under contract at that price and then try to rely on a price reduction. And I'm like, I don't know. I always have a problem. I see a lot of that with the MLS deals. People are going getting them under contract and then they have no intention of actually closing. So they'll get under contract at a price that they obviously it's not a deal, so they can't sell it and they don't intend on closing on it. So then they're going to end up canceling. Well, that not only affects the fact that we're trying to come in lower as an offer, which makes it harder for us to negotiate, but also you're messing with the seller's their life. And I always say like these homeowners, what happens when you get under contract? They start packing up their house. They start planning.
They think you're going to buy the house.
Yeah, they're planning on whatever their next move is. So then to cancel on the last day of the inspection period or to cancel even during the inspection period when you had no intention of buying it, it's just a very tough game to be.
Yeah, it's a shitty thing to put sellers in that position, especially like the way I look at deals. If they're in the home, I need to close on it.
Absolutely.
If they're moving. If it's a vacant property, it's been sitting vacant for the last
different
10 years.
Conversation, but still.
Right. You still want to close on all your deals, but you have to look at those scenarios a little different. It's like if it's vacant, it's been sitting there.
I mean, I can't be the guy on here being like, don't ever cancel a deal. Like it happens.
Right.
It's part
we
of the
both
business.
not closed on wholesale deals that we have
all the time
under contract.
And I mean, it happens monthly. Like there's multiple deals month that we are like, oh man, like this is too tight. It happens, but it's just the intention behind it.
Yeah. So then when it comes to like you finding the deals on the MLS, how are you guys actually going about that where you're executing these deals and making money wholesaling them?
So we are kind of doing a little bit of double dipping, being licensed. One of the methods that we're able to do, a lot of people don't realize, you've got the A to B contract, which is between the seller, the listing agent, you as the buyer, and then we represent ourselves as the agent. So when we get that A to B contract under contract and we open up the escrow, we're getting paid the commission from the seller to represent the buyer, which is ourselves. So we get paid the commission on the front leg of that. And then we will either take it down and flip it ourselves, or if we walk in with our contractor and we're like, you know what, maybe this one isn't for us, then we'll transition in and wholesale that out last minute. So what we do is a lot of our deals are coming from like specific situations where the seller has actual motivation, pre-foreclosure, probates, days on market's a big one in a market like this. If it's been on the market for like 7 to 10 days in one of the hot cities in the East Valley, we're turning around and we're trying to like bombard them with offers. We're taking an angle from myself, one agent on my team, maybe another person that's not licensed on the team. And we're just trying to figure out what their pain point is.
Yeah.
Is the seller moving to another house? Are they relocating out of state? Are they done with the house? Are they is the house trashed? Was it a rental? But our best successes right now is probate, pre-foreclosure, days on market, and then I would say
just distressed though.
Yeah,
like,
probably top 3.
So they're on market, but the seller still needs to be distressed. It's not like you're buying, or at least some type of a problem situation going on. It's not. A lot of people are probably just thinking like, oh, can I just go on the MLS and just make 65% offers to every property?
You could,
but it's probably not going to be that effective if you have a nice house
they're not
around the
gonna
valley.
take
They
a-
are
yeah,
right. They're not going to
yeah,
take that.
yeah.
So you're having to kind of
And we built
dig
a
a
lot of
little bit.
rapport. So there was one that we just got last week before, I don't remember. It was Albert on the team. He got a deal. It was $120,000 off their list price.
Wow.
And it just, that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Like, that's
that's
the
crazy.
biggest like
Why did
spread.
they take it?
I don't have an answer on that one. I
Yeah.
still haven't figured that one out because they had two other offers on the table that were financed loans that were higher substantially than ours. And so I think they really liked Albert as a person. They saw a lot of our past deals. We provide proof of funds. We put up hard earnest money, all the terms that you were saying, like for New Jersey that people don't do. Like that's what we do. We just say, hey, I'm buying this. I'm putting down hard earnest money. I'm shortening my inspection period. I still want to check it out, but that's just because I need to be able to see what I'm getting into. But then it's just, building rapport. And I think that what ended up happening with that one, I might be misspeaking, but I'm pretty sure the seller told the agent, said, hey, pick which offer you think is the best and we'll actually close.
Yeah.
And so she had built the most rapport with Albert and they took our offer. It was listed at like 575. We got it at like 450, 455.
Damn.
And so
That's
we're
crazy.
getting commission off that. And then we wholesaled it out for like 20,000. So
20K wholesale. MLS,
yeah.
Phoenix, hottest market in the US for all you people that say you can't find deals right now.
we do about 5 to 10 a month. It just depends. On a great month, I mean, we've hit like 15, but on our slow months, it's about 5. And even so, when I say that to people, they're like 5 MLS deals in a month. I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're not all 50K rips, but our average spread's 12
Yeah.
plus commission. So,
And I know I've known you kind of since you almost got into kind of the investing side of things. And I mean, you've really scaled it up, I feel like, this year from a numbers standpoint. What do you think has been the biggest key to your success so far this year in scaling the wholesaling side of things?
honestly, it's all the team. Like being able to, just like what I did when I started in real estate, of surrounding myself with people that were smarter and better than me.
Yeah.
I've done the same thing. It's like that quote that says, I didn't go to Harvard, but I'll hire somebody that did. I had that same philosophy that I'm not a contractor. I'll hire a contractor. I'm not the best salesperson. I could build a lot of rapport and I can really like empathize and have a good conversation with somebody, figure out their pain points and put myself in their shoes, figure it out. But I'm not Steve Trang. Like I'm not that kind of like sales guy. So I went and I found a sales guy. Albert is phenomenal. Kyle, director of operations on my traditional team. I was like, hey man, I want to focus on investment, but I want you to have a piece of the traditional side and I want you to handle all my headaches. I want you to handle the onboarding. I want you to handle the paperwork, all the day-to-day activities. He does all that. This year, we've now doubled the size of the team. We were a very small team. We went from 4 to 8, and that was just over really the last like month. So I'd say it's been just relying heavily on other people. Everybody's playing into their strengths. I'm not the guy that runs the typical 9 to 5 investment team that I've seen with some companies where they say you have to have X amount of calls made per day.
Right. It's
X
like a
amount
call center. You just pound the phones all day.
Yeah.
Here's the KPIs. Why didn't you make 80 dials yesterday? Why
Right.
didn't you set 3 appointments?
And
You're not running that.
For me, it just wasn't like, it's not my cup of tea. I got into real estate for flexibility and freedom, as I'm sure most people do. And so at the end of the day, I don't care if they come into the office. They want to work from home, great. As long as your expectations like that I have with you are met, do what you want. Go to Hawaii, work from Hawaii. You want to work at coffee shop, work at the coffee shop. You want to come into our office, that works too. So I just run a very laid back team, super easygoing, but I let everybody work where they're going to be happiest because that seems to be when everybody does their best work.
Yeah. No, I mean, I completely agree with that. If you're going to just make it so like you create this like environment where it feels like you're at a corporate call center, then it's like, why'd you even why'd you make this in the first place?
Right.
You know, so I love kind of the team that you're building up. And I know you just moved into a new office, big office.
Yes.
I've seen you move into a couple offices now.
That's my forte.
Talk to me about that. Why did you decide to move into like this big, what was it, 3,000 square foot
it's
office?
2,500 square feet.
2,500?
Yeah. So
it's a big office.
Bigger than my house. Yeah. We're, I've always been jumping around offices. It's not something I'm proud of. It's just, we've always been in like a shared workspace. We were at a brokerage prior to me starting up my own team that my only request to them was, hey, I would like to have my own office inside the brokerage. I'll pay you rent. I just want it to lock so that my team of, at that point was 22 agents, they can leave their bags here. They can leave their laptops or whatever it is that they want. And we're good. They told me no. And so it was kind of like almost in spite. I'm like, I need an office for my team. So we started off working from like my dad's casita to it was Regis, one of those like shared office spaces. We were in an office that was smaller than this studio for just Kyle and I. It was like a 250 square foot office. It was brutal. Went from that to a bigger one, a bigger closet is what I say. We jumped around a few other shared spaces. This last one that we were at, it was a great office. We actually shared it with one of the big investment companies, Keegley.
Yeah, Keegley. Yeah, I saw that
So
office. That was a cool setup.
it worked. For us, once we bought the staging company and we were like vertically integrating within real estate, it made almost too much sense for us to try to keep everything centrally located. I started running the numbers of, okay, if we have a storage unit in Gilbert and it's 3 of them because of how much furniture we have, $500 a piece is $1,500 a month in rent for storage, and it's all in 3 different storage units. Why don't I try to go light industrial? I know commercial real estate. Try to find a space that has a warehouse in the back, and I could put all the furniture in there. And then the front part of the office is our office specific, so we're not sharing with anybody. It's just like ours. Searched around a little bit after we bought the staging company, and within like 2 weeks, I found this space, and it was a smoke and deal. It's on like that Mesa Queen Creek border out there where it's like super up and coming.
Yeah.
Our office rent I thought was affordable for what we were spending at the other space, and now we've got all the companies in one specific location.
Yeah. So you got your vertical integrations within real estate. You have the traditional side.
Yep.
The investing side, which is wholesaling,
Flipping.
flipping.
Yep.
You have some rentals.
Yep. We got
right?
a couple rentals.
Couple
Yep.
rentals, and then the staging company.
Correct.
Is that the 3 kind
That's
of
the 3.
verticals?
Yep. So traditional, I'm silent in that one. I help friends and family with personal transactions, but other than that, everything goes to my team, Kyle and Amber. And then on the investment side, that's where I spend most of my day to day. I'm always trying to find the next flip, but a lot of times we pivot and wholesale it. So it's just a matter of me focusing on that with my time and effort. And then the other part of it is that staging company. But I'm, again, silent on that one too. I'm more of just the visionary that's like business relationships. I have all the connections with other realtors, other investors that I'm like, hey, you have a house in Phoenix you're flipping. I'd call you up and I'm like, yo, we're friends. Stage it with me. You're
Right.
like, great. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
So
needed one anyway.
Right.
Rely on you.
exactly.
So that's pretty cool how you have it set up, because one part of the business is generating all these people that want to sell homes,
Mhm.
right? So then you get those leads to come in. You figure out, should we give it to a realtor?
Yep.
Should we fix it ourselves?
Wholesale it.
Wholesale it,
Yep.
right? And then when it's time to list the property,
We do it.
you're doing it yourself and you're making money from your own staging company.
Correct.
So on a fix and flip, like right now, for a fix and flip for us, we're buying it direct to seller. We buy them
Yep.
deep. Steve's an agent.
Yep.
He's, dispoing it. We don't stage, but you also then, but in Phoenix, it's a different market. You kind of have
For
to
sure.
stage here. So then you're making money on that too. So 3 different ways. You're making the agent fees, the staging fees,
And then flip or
and then-
wholesale. Yeah.
where the real money is.
Right.
But 3 different ways on one deal. So you could probably even buy a little tighter of deals.
That's just it. And that we've already been able to do that with getting the commission side of things on the traditional side. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, if the numbers are, man, if I really had an extra 5K here, it would be a deal. But then you have $10,000 or $12,000 commission. It's like, okay, this is a deal. So then we end up paying ourselves with the staging company to do it. And it kind of like all cycles through itself. So
Do you see any other verticals that you would like to add in the future?
I would say no right now, but I'm sure Albert will throw something my way in about 3 weeks that I'll be like, all right, let's do it. So
Yeah.
I guess this is kind of something, not really. We were looking into, we're really big on branding. And so we've looked into like hiring a production company for apparel, like t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all that stuff. And as we started like shopping that around, we're like, man, this company wants us to pay X amount of dollars for a certain quantity minimum. And I'm like, man, I really just want like a one-off shirt. Like if I could have this design on this shirt, this design on this shirt, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like last week, Albert and I went and bought a printing machine for shirts
really?
and stuff.
Oh,
So
damn.
we're going to start doing that. I don't know if we're going to turn that into a business or anything, but
Dude, I need some stuff done.
Well, there you go.
Maybe I'll use you guys.
there you go.
I mean, Albert guys actually made this Flip Lab sign.
Yep.
So super talented
Yep.
guy he is. But I think it's cool. Like when you're a young entrepreneur, especially like you're probably just always thinking of like always ideas, right? And
Yep.
there's so many different ways to make money.
Of
How
course.
do you keep yourself focused on not getting too distracted of, okay, I'm going to start a staging business and a
Right.
apparel business and
For sure.
do all this crazy shit?
For me, it's always been about just focusing on what makes me happy. And then also, what really matters is what I'm good at. Like, I suck at tech. I am not the guy that's going to go build some crazy tech side Podio on the back end that has Zapier and all these different apps connected that makes my life easy.
Mhm.
I'm going to find somebody that can do that.
Yeah.
What my specialty is has always been kind of the building relationships, networking. And then, I mean, I'm good at like being on the phones and talking to people. So for me, I think it was just really focusing on what my vision was and not straying away from anything that was going to distract me from it. So obviously I'm young. I've had a lot of my friends be like, dude, let's go to this trip. Let's go out of the country and do this. Let's go buy this. Or why don't you go buy this sports car? And I'm like, why? Like for me, my life is very simple. I have a very simple routine and
Why overcomplicate it?
exactly. So again, just once I transitioned from traditional to investment, it was like night and day. I really saw the money come in a lot more. I saw my happiness go up. I saw more flexibility. And I also saw more production on my traditional side as I delegated all the tasks out. So it was just kind of like, it all worked out the way it was supposed to. And since then, the past like year or so, I've just blown up. So it's just really focusing on what I'm good at.
Yeah. I think it's tough sometimes when when you look into like hiring something, like even like this podcast,
Right.
it was like, I could rent out a studio,
Yep.
or I could spend, tens of thousands of dollars on all these cameras and stuff,
Yep.
and like do it myself.
Right.
And I think those decisions come up a lot in business, but
course.
sometimes the one that might, okay, yeah, if I do it myself, it's going to be cheaper.
Yep.
In the long run, it's going to be the better ROI.
Of course.
But it might take up so much time and be a distraction.
Right.
Then I don't buy 2 flips that month that I would have made 100 grand from
For
or
sure.
whatever. And then paying the couple thousand in studio
For
fees
sure.
wouldn't be too much.
Right.
So I think it's tough to sometimes.
Yeah. And
make
I think
those
that
decisions.
I do have to put like the disclaimer in there. I think the reason I can do that, like when I first transitioned to investment, I called Kyle on the traditional side and I was like, hey, I'm going to disappear for like 3 months. I'm focusing on this course that I'm in and I need you to understand that's my like sole focus. So
Yeah.
if you need me, don't, and I'll see you in a few months. And it was like a month and a half. I went through the whole course and I knocked out my first deal, but I was able to leverage a team. So I think like 100% you were spot on. This could take so much time, effort, and energy, but you also do have a business partner too, with Steve, that you're like, okay, maybe my focus is on this for right now, but I could still leverage him. Maybe we have a little bit of a slow month. We only get 1 flip this month.
Yeah.
But it was Steve that did it and we split it 50-50 and we're rocking.
Right.
So,
And that's why I encourage a lot of people to find the right partnerships.
of course.
I know, like, you've made some great partnerships, with Kyle and Albert.
Yep.
And, Amber in your business, and, you have a strong team. But people that are trying to do everything themselves without any team members, it's like,
Tough.
no shit, you're not starting a podcast and
Right.
you're not starting this
You're
staging
not a Fortune
business.
500 in
Right.
6 months. What?
Right. It's like, yeah, you're only going to be flipping a couple
Right.
houses at a time doing that.
Yeah.
So, to hear all these different verticals though at 23, man, you about to take over Gilbert.
Trying to. That's the plan.
If people want to find you, where should they reach out?
Yep. Instagram, it's just my first and last name at Ryan Zolin, RyanZolin. And then TikTok, I'm not posting too much, but it's at Wholesale Houses. I've built up a following community on there. And so those are my 2 places I'd say are the best.
Awesome, man. Well, if you need an agent, you have a house to sell, need anything real estate, house to stage,
Anything real estate, anything commercial, you got it.
call up the Zolin Group.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. It's a pleasure having you on.
I appreciate you, bro.
See ya.
Thanks.